नीलातुङ्गस्तनगिरितटे सुप्तमुद्बोध्य कृष्णं पारार्थ्यं स्वं श्रुतिशतशिरःसिद्धमध्यापयन्ति स्वोच्छिष्टायां स्रजनिगलितं याफलात् कृत्य भुङ्क्ते गोदातस्यै नम इदमिदं भूय एवास्तु भूयः अन्नवयल पुदुवै आण्डाळ அரங்கற்கு பன்னு திருப்பாவை பல்பதியம் இன்னிசையால் பாடிக் கொடுத்தாள் நற்பாமாலை பூமாலை சூடிக் கொடுத்தாளை சொல்லு சூடிக் கொடுத்த சுடற்குடியே தொல்பாவை பாடியருளவல்ல பல்வளையாய் நாடினி வேங்கடவர்க்கென்னை விதியென்ன இம்மாற்றம் நாங்கணவா வண்ணமே நல்கு. These are the invocatory verses that praise Goddess Andal. She is referred to in Tamil, the South Indian language, as Andal. In Sanskrit, she is referred to as Goda Devi. There are many Sanskrit compositions which have been sung as laudatory verses by various preceptors praising Andal's greatness and her contribution to Bhakti literature. Of them, Swami Vedanta Deshika's Godastuti is the icing. Andal is referred to in these invocatory verses as Sakshat Bhuma Devi. In certain instances, she is referred to as Neela Devi too. Here, the Acharyas say that her contribution is the zenith of bhakti. They say that with her intense love and devotion to the Lord, she was able to attain the Lord, and she was able to attain the Lord as her very husband. Andal, who was raised as the child of Vishnu Chitta, who is commonly and popularly known as Periyalvar, in a small hamlet, a town called as Srivilliputturu. She was raised in this Pandyan kingdom as the daughter to a man whose entire life was dedicated to devotion and especially bringing beautiful flowers from the Nandavanam, the garden that he nurtured, and he would string a garland, a beautiful garland together, and would present that to Lord Vatapatra Shayi, who is the deity in the sanctum sanctorum of Srivilliputturu. Andal, during this entire course of having sung Tiruppavai, has imagined herself to be one of the Vraja women who lived during the times of Krishna. Why did she sing Tiruppavai? Andal, from a very young age, who was nurtured by Periyalvar, was fed with the beautiful words of Srimad Bhagavatam, Sri Vishnu Puranam, Srimad Ramayanam, and Sri Mahabharatam. Her mind and heart fell in love with Krishna. So right from her young age, she wanted to marry only Krishna. So much so that in her other composition called Nachiyar Tirumozhi, she states, Manidavarku emmai pechupadil vazhagillen kandai manmathani. To see the fructification of this particular love towards Krishna, she asked her father what should be done. Her father referred to the earlier scriptures which have been revered by all acharyas and said that during the times of Krishna, the Vraja woman who wanted to marry observed a vratam towards Mahamayi Katyayani. Katyayani Mahamaye Mahayogin Yadishwari Nandagopa Sutam Devi. So let us observe this vow or pledge to Goddess Durga, so that by her benign grace, we will be able to attain Lord Krishna as our consort. So that was the objective of the Vratam. But Andal, who wanted to follow the footsteps of her predecessors, Melayar, Shaivanagal, Venduvena Ketiyel, also wanted to be a Paramaikanti. So she thought, instead of requesting Ma Durga, Katyayani, why don't I approach Lord Krishna directly? Why don't I approach him with the aid of my fellow Bhagavatas, my friends? Why don't we go as a group, observe the vow every morning during the Dhanur Masam? So then she began this vratam. In Tamil, it is called Pavai Nombu. Nombu means vratam, and this vratam is called Pavai Nombu. And this roughly lasts for 1 month during the Dhanur Masam, Margazhi Masam, or in Tamil, it is called Margazhi. So during the entire course of 30 days, she wanted to exhibit her love to the God using beautiful words. She didn't want flowers. Her words were the flowers. Shengalanir Malligayod Iruvachi, tells her father while listing the flowers. For her words were the flowers. So as she wanted to observe the vow, to very feel the effect of being a Vrajastri, she taught herself to a Vrajastri. Despite being the daughter of a Vedic scholar, she imagined herself to be of the Vaishya community. She imagined the Srivilliputtur town to be Gokulam, Ayarpadi. She imagined the house of Nandagopala resting in the sanctum sanctorum of Vatapatrashayi, and the Lord in Archavatara, who's Vatapatrashayi, as Lord Krishna himself. So she ended up singing these 30 verses called or compiled together as Tiruppavai. Tiruppavai is referred to as the very quintessence of Vedam. Vedam Anaithirkum Vittagum Kodai Tamil is a line. And over and above it, it is also said to bring the essence of the other prabandhams like Thiruvaimozhi, Periya Tirumozhi, Tirumadal, which is of two types, Periya and Shiriya, and the works of the Mudalazhvargal, Tirumalizhai Periyalvar of course, Kulashekharalvar. So, Andal's prabandham of 30 Pasurams is indeed regarded and opined by many acharyas as the very quintessence of the remaining 3,970 Pasurams. During this month, we will have the opportunity to discuss briefly the essence of each of the Pasurams. Margazhi Tingal Madinirainda Nannalal நீராடப் போதுவீர் போதுமினோ நேரிழையீர் சீர்மல்கும் ஆய்ப்பாடிச் செல்வச் சிறுமீர்கள் கூர்வேல் கொடுந்தொழிலன் நந்தகோபன் குமரன் ஏரார்ந்த கன்னி அசோதை இளம் சிங்கம் கார் மேனி செங்கண் கதிர்மதியம் போல் முகத்தான் நாராயணனே நமக்கே பறை தருவான் பாரோர் புகழப் படிந்தேலோர் எம்பாவாய். In these set of 30 Pasurams, the commentators, the Vyakhyatas, have immensely experienced, internalized and produced their wonderful bhakti-laden experiences in the form of commentaries. All the acharyas opine that of the 30 Pasurams, the first 5 is the introduction. Pasuram 6 to Pasuram 15 is where she sings a Suprabhatam, a Tiruppalli Eluchi to her fellow Bhagavatas. Pasuram 16 is where she pays her obeisances to the watchmen of Krishna's house. Pasuram 17 is where she offers her respects to Krishna's mother Yashoda, father Nandagopa, brother Balarama. Pasuram 18, 19 and 20, 3 Pasurams together, she intends to seek the grace and recommendation of Krishna's beloved called Nappinnai or Neela Devi. Pasuram 21 to 25, she invokes Lord Krishna's blessings directly. In the 26th Pasuram, she gets to witness or have a glimpse of Krishna. She continues her experience of seeing Krishna in Pasuram 27, 28 and 29. And in Pasuram 30, she attains her original state of being the daughter of Periyalvar and says that this is the fruit or phalam for those who recite Tiruppavai with intense devotion. In the first Pasuram, she says, Margazhi Tingal Madi Nirainda Nannalal. This month of Margazhi is that which brings a lot of spiritual intelligence, knowledge amongst the practitioners. Madi Nirainda Nannalal. Nannal all. In Tamil, all means with surprise. Oh, this month, this is so auspicious. Neerada Poduvir. Andal tells her friends, I am going to take bath. I suppose you are also going to take bath. Why don't you come with me? Nerirayir. Those who are adorned with beautiful ornaments. Here, interestingly, she calls friends of her age group with respect. In most of our languages, be it in Hindi, Abe yar, Yeno kano, in Kannada, Yenda, in Tamil, Yemra, Telugu. So whichever language, amongst friends we don't use respectful words. But here is a girl who says, Nerirayir, Neerada Poduvir. The commentator asks why. He tells, since she has taken a vow to observe in devotion to Krishna, while you are in devotion, all people around you, irrespective of age, gender, caste, creed, need to be given respect. So she tells, Neerada Poduvir, Podumino Nerirayir. Then she tells, where are we? Sirmalgum Ai Padi. Ai Padi means Gokulam, because Gokulam was a village dedicated to grazing, rearing, nurturing cows, because dairy farming was their major source of income. So Go is Pashu, cattle like. Kulam is community. So their entire lives depended on the cows and the calves. In Tamil it is called Aipadi. Shirmalgum Aipadi. Andal tells, this is just not a simple Gokulam, not a simple Aipadi. It is a very, very prosperous Aipadi. Shirmalgum Aipadi. Shelva Chirumirgal. Oh, the little ones. Kurvel Kodunthorilan. So, whom are we going to now see? We are going to end up seeing Krishna's father who has raised him, who is Nandagopa. So, Kurvel Kodunthorilan. He is the one who keeps sharpening the spear. Immediately the commentator asks, why should Nandagopa, who is engaged in dairy farming, sharpen his spear? To which he says, because Krishna's birth, and ever since Krishna's birth, every object that was seen in Gokulam happened to be a demon. So the father was so afraid and petrified that some harm will be meted to the son. He ended up seeing a small black ant which was coming towards his son. And he thought this black ant could be an asura. To kill that black ant, he used a spear. Who is he? Nandagopan. And who is Krishna to Nandagopa? Kumaran. He is the young lad of Nandagopa. Yerarnda Kanni. Who is Krishna's mother? Krishna's mother is Yashoda. How are her eyes? Yerarnda Kanni. Her eyes are so beautiful. They look like the beautiful petals of a lotus. Kanjadala yatakshi, says Dikshitar. So here he says, Yerarnda Kanni. Beautiful eyes. Yashodai, her name. Ilam Shingam. So Krishna is the young cub, lion's child, the cub. He is like the cub, as valorous, as courageous, as powerful as the cub. Yerarnda Kanni, Yashodai Ilam Shingam. How is his hue? Karmeni. He looks like the dark rain-bearing clouds. Karmeni. How are his eyes? Tasya yatha kapyasam pundarikameва makshini, tells Chandogya Upanishad. It looks gambhiramba samudbhuta sumrishtanala ravikara vikasita pundarikadala amala ayatekshanaha, tells Bhagavad Ramanuja. Tiruppanalvar tells kadiyavagi pudaiparandu milirundu shabbariyodi nindava periyavaya kangal. Alvar tells anaithulagum tolum aravindalochanan. So his eyes are like that lotus which blooms upon receiving the rays of the sun when it is associated with the long stalk where there are river waters that are cool enough in the pond. So he tells Karmeni Shenkan. How are his eyes represented in the Upanishads? Kadir Madiyam. They look like the light-giving sun and moon. Chandra Surya Ucha Netre. Chandra Surya Nayana Prameya Vagindra Janaka Sakalesha Shubhra Nagendra Shayana Shamana Vairi Sannuta. Kadir Madiyam Pol Mugattan. Who is the one who is now the child that we are speaking about? Narayanane. The one who has Chetana and Achetana as his body, Narayanane. Who is he? The one who bestows moksham, Parai Taruvan. To whom will he bestow moksham? Namakke, to the Jivatma. Is he the only one who bestows moksham? Yes, Narayanane. It is only him. Will he bestow moksham to the Jivatma? Namakke. Parai Taruvan. Parai is incidentally a musical instrument as well as equated to moksham. Paror, those who are living around me. Magandhelor Embavai. Let us all join together and sing his praises. Is the essence of Pasuram 1.
Margazhi tingal madi niraindha nannada. Margazhi tingal madi niraindha nannada. Nirada poduir podumino neridayir. Nirada poduir podumino neridayir. Sirmalgum hai paadi selva chirumira. Sirmalgum hai paadi selva chirumira. Purvel kodul dolina nandagopam kumaran. Purvel kodul dolina nandagopam kumaran. Eradakan Yashwadai idam singam. Eradakan Yashwadai idam singam. Karmeni shangan kadirmadiyam ohatan. Karmeni shangan kadirmadiyam ohatan. Narayana Namake Pare Taruvan. Narayana Namake Pare Taruvan. Paror puhara padildelor embavai. Paror puhara padildelor embavai. Nadira tomdira tadiyani danidi. Nadira tomdira tadiyani danidi. Ridim ridim nadira tomdira tadiyani danidi. Ridim ridim nadira tomdira tadiyani danidi.
பக்தி மார்க்கத்துக்கு வித்திட்டது யார்? தமிழ் மொழியை வளர்த்தது யார்? நாம் கற்க வேண்டியது யாது? இவ்வனைத்துக்கும் விடை ஆழ்வார்களும் அவர்கள் கொடுத்த திவ்ய பிரபந்தமுமே ஆகும். ஆழ்வார்களின் வாழ்க்கை வரலாறும் அவர்கள் அருளிச் செய்த பாசுரங்களில் உள்ள அழகும் அந்த அழகுக்கு மேலும் அழகு சேர்க்கும் வியாக்கியானங்களும் அந்த பாசுரங்களால் பொலிவு பெறும் திவ்ய தேசங்களும் இவ்வனைத்தையும் ஒருங்கிணைக்கும் வகையே அபிநவ பாடசாலா வழங்கும் பிரபந்த சாரபோதனி, a comprehensive e-course. மேலும் விவரங்களுக்கு kindly visit www.desikadaya.org/aep. வாரீர் பக்தி தமிழில் இணைவோம்.